The next thing I knew, some light was burning straight through my eyelids. I opened them to find myself flat on my back, staring at a sky I didn't recognize. It took a moment for my brain to process that I was lying in a patch of overgrown bushes, somewhere I'd never seen before. My head was pounding, and for a minute I was too disoriented to move. I tried to sit up, and that's when the panic hit. First thing I noticed, I wasn't wearing my own clothes. Someone had dressed me in an outfit that definitely wasn't mine, right down to the pants that were 2 inches too short. After a second of hesitation, he slid it across the counter. My hands were shaking as I dialed the only number I had memorized. My sister's. There was no way I was calling my parents, not like this. Where the hell was I? There were no familiar landmarks, just a quiet two-lane road curling off into the trees. She gave me Ryan's number after I begged, and I called him over and over, but no answer. My mind started spiraling. Had the same thing happened to him? Was he lying in some other random bushes, maybe worse off than me? Nothing came. It was like the film reel of my memory had been ripped out. We just stared at each other for a second, trying to figure out if this was real. When the officers arrived, they listened, but you could see the doubt in their eyes. They thought we'd just gotten blackout drunk and wandered off. But there was no way. How would we end up an hour away on foot, and dressed in strangers' clothes? His clothes were all wrong too, not his, and he looked just as rattled. But they brushed us off, saying we were confused from drinking too much. One cop even laughed and told us it happens more than you think. Then they handed us their cards and told us to call if we remembered anything else. He came over, and we hugged like brothers who'd survived a plane crash. We swapped stories, and it was the same. Blackout. Woke up far away, wearing someone else's clothes. My hands looked fine. No blood, no bruises, but the hole in my memory felt enormous. I practically stumbled toward it, heart in my throat, and pushed through the doors. The guy behind the counter gave me a double take. I probably looked like I'd decrawled out of a swamp. There were messages I'd sent to Jimmy, my parents, random coworkers, all totally normal sounding. Some said we were safe at a friend's house, others said we'd crashed at home. None of it matched up, and none of it was true. I looked around for any clue, a sign, a building, anything to get my bearings. But here was the scariest part. I knew for a fact I had passed out because my phone had messages on it, messages I had sent. That meant I'd been awake and moving around for hours, but my brain hadn't recorded a second of it. From what I could see, I was nowhere near the shore, nowhere near Jimmy's Airbnb. I didn't even smell like salt water, which would have made sense if I'd washed up from the ocean. Instead, it was just damp and cold and wrong. I checked my pockets, but there was nothing. No wallet, no keys, no phone, just empty. My shoes were the only things I still recognized, but even those were soaking wet and missing the laces, like they'd been pulled off and thrown back on in a rush. I stood up slowly, legs shaky, mind even shakier. My stomach started to knot up as I tried to remember anything after Gianna leaned in to kiss me. I felt this wave of dread. What if I'd done something horrible? Hurt somebody? Wrecked a car? There was no way to tell. That's when I spotted a 7-Eleven across the road, the only landmark around. I told him my phone had been stolen and asked if I could borrow his. She answered right away, her voice instantly panicked. I tried to explain, but even to my own ears it sounded insane. Then, out of nowhere, Ryan himself walked into the 7-Eleven. Together we told the guy behind the counter what happened, and he called the police for us. We asked them to check out Marcella's house, the place she declaimed was hers. After they left, I finally checked my recovered phone. The texts were even weirder than I'd feared. It was like someone had been impersonating me.